Hey, what's up everyone? It's your boy Nick and this is Spider-Man and welcome back to another episode of Rad Dad Builds. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how to build and install this simple yet modern handrail going down your stairs. And as always, yeah. Okay, so to make the handrail going down the stairs, I'm using this piece of stock maple, which is 10 feet long by 1.5 inch thickness and 4 inches wide. A little bit too wide and a little bit too thick right now, so we're gonna go mill it down, get it nice and flat on the jointer. You can totally skip this step by buying already pre-milled lumber, but I have a vision in mind which I can't seem to buy, so I'm gonna make it myself. Yep. So I put the piece of stock maple through the jointer to get two flat surfaces square from each other. Once flat, I then put it through my planer to bring it down to 1.5 inches in thickness. Because I wanted the handrail to be a bit more comfortable to hold, I put a 5-degree chamfer on each side. So I set my table saw up to 85 degrees and then brought my fence over to 3.5 inches. I then cut the 5-degree chamfer to the opposite face that I jointed. Once the chamfer was cut, I then set my fence to 3 inches away from the blade, which is the total width of the handrail, and then ripped the opposite side. As the piece was already 10 feet in length, I then trimmed the ends up with my miter saw. Once the handrail was fully milled up, I then gave it a good sand all the way up to 320 grit with my orbital sander. I then broke away any sharp edges by hand. For the finish, I'm using Osmo Oil Poly X. I start off by applying a sparing amount with a white pad, buffing it in as I go. I then remove any excess with a blue shop towel. I let this dry for 8 hours and then I repeat the exact same steps. While that was drying, I started marking the handrail position. I leveled a straight line from the front of the top step. And then on that line, I made a mark at 34 inches from the top of the step. The 34 inches is going to be the underside of my handrail. I then repeated the exact same steps on the front edge of the very bottom step. Again, marking 34 inches along that plumb line. Oh man, I can't do this on my own. I need some help.
Circle for help.
Okay dude, chill. So with the help of Spider-Man, I held the chalk line at each point that I marked. I then pulled the chalk line tight and then pinged it against the wall, leaving a blue mark from each point that I marked. The good thing about using chalk lines is once you're finished, you can just rub the mark away with a wet towel. I then, using my stud finder, found the nearest stud closest to the top of the staircase. And along that stud, I held the bracket for the handrail flush to the line, and then marked and installed that bracket to the stud. Once the top bracket was installed, I then did the exact same, finding the stud closer to the bottom of the stairs, and then fixed the handrail bracket to the stud flush with the line that we marked. Once installed, I then add the mounting brackets, though I do knock it off a couple times while sitting the handrail on top. I then roughly put the handrail into position, making sure it shoots past the bottom step and shoots past the top step. Once I'm happy with the position, I then temporarily clamp the handrail into place. I make sure that the handrail is parallel from the wall, and then it was time to attach it. I pre-drilled the holes through the mounting brackets into the handrail and then fixed the handrail to the mounting brackets with the screws provided. And then finally, I attached a thread mounting bracket using the exact same techniques as before by locating the stud that's closest to the center of the handrail. I attach it to the stud using the hardware provided and then attach the handrail to the bracket. I will post a link down below to everything that I used in this video. So that pretty much sums up this video. I just want to say thanks so much for watching. If you got any comments or questions, don't hesitate to ask me down below. If you like this video, press like and subscribe. If you want to go see some more day-to-day stuff, go follow me at RedDeadBuilds on Instagram. If you want to see how I made this handrail with the glass and these stair treads with the LEDs, I will link that in down below also. And as always, stay rad, peace, yeah!